Hello everybody and welcome back. So this is the sim going, and you can see we have our temperature working and it's being copied over to the points. We have a lot of details. If we zoom in and let's change this to black, dark, and let's hit play. So we have a lot of details within the Spark system, and it's very light. Now the only thing that I'm noticing is the particles, the color here is flickering quite a bit. And the reason for that is because the points are changing their value on every frame based on what's the nearest data to them. And we don't want that because the temperature is accumulating over time. So when something is hot, it gets dragged and stays in that position for some time. We want to continue some of this. We want to inherit some of these properties that we could use later. So we want to fix this flickering. And the easiest way to do that is to mimic what the sim in DOPS was doing. So if I dive inside, instead of looking up the value every frame, we can check its previous value like we did with the velocity. We take the existing one, change it, and then pass it on. We can do the same thing with the temperature. So I'm going to use a bind node. I'm going to focus on the temperature for now, but you guys can implement this on other segments, other attributes as well. And I'm going to use an add node. I'm going to take the current temperature, do a lookup, and find whatever new data we need and then add that to the existing one. Now if we continue adding this, then it's going to explode. The value will keep adding over time, all the time. So we need to decay this ourselves. And I'm going to use a multiply node and set this to 0.5. So it decays every time we add value, we also decay it so it doesn't explode. And if I hit play now, you will see that the sim is much more stable and the temperature values are getting dragged and it looks much more natural now. So I like this. I'm going to do one more trick to make it look even more interesting. I'm going to hit play. And we're going to create a quick point VOP to visualize the colors the same way. So let's dive inside. And we're using 0 to 0.5 for the temperature. So bind import the temperature field. And ramp. And a fit range. And let's check. Set the same range, so 0.5, and let's plug in the color, and I'll explain why I wanted to do this in a second. So the ramp, let's copy this. So the first color I'm going to copy and paste values, and point we have 0.73. We're going to make it orange, so I'm going to copy this as well, paste values, and then this I'm going to copy and we're going to change. So this is our custom point VOP, and it should look exactly the same. It does. So what I want to do next is I want to get the length of the velocity field, and let's look at it. So the faster the particle moves, I wanted to make it brighter. So let's put down a fit range, and we want to fit range this between 0 and 5, 0 and 3, 0 and 5 is good. And I'm simply going to multiply this by a color and then combine all of this, add it to the existing ramp. So add, and let's export this, and we can set this knob to color, and let's flip this, and let's go inside. Right now it's black, so we're going to change it to have an interesting tint, something like that. And now what we did is when it gets faster, it's going to become brighter, basically. And that's how we want the sparks to look like when we render them. Now I have a lot of points, so let me delete. Let's restore back the 10% and do a quick sim. Hey, there's a lot of details. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put down a trail node, and I want the increment to be 6.2, and let's see, 0.1, 0.01. Okay, so now we're getting these nice trails from the sparks, and if we hit play, you will see that we're getting some nice streaks as it gets faster and faster. And we can use an add node and connect those and make them actual primitives. So by ID, I believe. Nope, they don't have an ID attribute at the moment, or it doesn't make sense. So we're not going to use that. But that's the idea. We can have maybe 12 points instead, 0.5, and now we're getting these nice streaks that represents our sparks. Cool. So that's it for this point. The next part is we're going to add the tornado effect. So we want this sim to create tornadoes inside of it, and that's to mimic the idea of having a large scale fire. So each of them will be grouped. I'm going to see how we can set that up in this scene, and then I will show the final network and how I set it up in my final sim. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.